If your door has a lock like this or similar to this one or this one, and you are tired of carrying around keys, or sometimes we don't even know where the keys are, or if simply we just want to have our kid to be able to lock and unlock the door without worrying about keys, today we are going to use a smart lock that will allow us to open with our fingerprint, with codes that we create, or even with a card that we just need to tap to unlock. And if we want, we can also open with the app wherever we are. We just need to have our phone, click on the button, and it will open. This is the WELOCK Smart Lock. The exact model, I will leave the link down below, but in the past we have seen this one right over here, which opens with our fingerprint. We also have seen this one that opens with the pin. This one right over here opens with the fingerprint, with the pin, and also with these cards. The installation is super simple. We just need to open our door. It's probably similar to mine. It has a cylinder that can be longer or shorter depending on the door thickness, but it's adjustable. I'll show you in a moment. We just need to remove the screw holding the cylinder, easy to identify, and then with the key or the internal latch, if yours has like mine, we just need to align the cam so it's straight and slide the cylinder out. Having it out of my door, it's easier to show you and that you can see the part that locks and unlocks the door, and also prevents removing the cylinder without the key. So just have that in mind. It's pretty straightforward, but we need to put it flush. Now we just need to insert our smart lock. It can be adjusted on both sides to fit almost any door. We just need to remove the metal ends, slide the lock into the door until it is tightened to the central screw. Just align it and tighten it up like it was with the old lock. Then adjust each end. In my particular case, you can see that just a little on each side. Tighten with the X key and it's ready to be used. At this point, I can open with my fingerprint, with the pin, or even the card if I want to, or my phone. To control the lock, we just need to install the WELOCK app, where we can add as many users as we want, either via fingerprint or pin codes. We just need to select, add, and choose which fingers or which codes we want to add. In my case, I added both left and right thumbs so that it's easy to me depending on which side I carry my groceries. If I carry on the right, I will use the left. If I carry on the left, I will use the right. But this has been more useful not to me, but to my youngest kid. And we are using one smart lock since about 3 years or so. And one of the things that I stopped worrying is, how will he open the door? Do I need to give him keys? Because I started using this 3 years ago. He was about 8 to 9 years old. He is 11 right now and he's so used to it. Today I did install this one. When he arrived, he said, "Dad, I don't have my fingerprint on the new lock that you placed." And that's really comfortable, because if he wants to go and play football on the front yard, he just needs to open the door, and then if the door closes, he doesn't need to be worried with keys. I don't need to be worried about him, because it will just go, put on his finger and get in. And that's really cool. And this is exactly the same for any family member. Forget keys, forget whatever. If you have a house with Airbnb, something similar to that, then we can create codes that we can decide when that particular code will no longer be valid. So if you rent your house, this will be very useful. We can do the exact same thing with these cards right over here. I can decide when this card will stop working, especially because I don't need to hand over keys to anyone, and I can also use it controlling my phone. Now, one of the things that we need to have in mind is that if I want to connect to any of these locks, I will need the app, and I will need to have my phone at the Bluetooth range. So we are talking about 10 meters or so. But if I want to open at a distance, let's say that I'm in China and I want to open the door in Portugal, then we will need this WELOCK Wi-Fi box, which is not included. This is an optional accessory, but what this will do is to connect to our Wi-Fi network. It will connect to our lock, and we will be able to be anywhere in the world to be able to control any of these locks, and this is a must-have accessory in my opinion. Now the app is a bit basic in terms of the graphical aspect or visually, but it offers a lot of features. We can create temporary codes, give temporary card access, see how long the lock stays open after unlocking, and we can change this value. By default, after just a few seconds, it will lock automatically, even if we don't do anything. So at this moment, if I rotate the outside lock or the outside part, it doesn't do anything. It would need to do this to open or close the door. So right now, if I put my finger here, it will unlock and I will be able to open the door or to close the door. But if I don't touch it for a few seconds, we will hear a sound. There we go. This means that it did release. So even if I went away and left it without closing, it means that no one else will be able to rotate and open or close the door. And this is really, really cool. In terms of safety, the indoor part is always active, so someone that is inside will always be able to open or close the door without having to need any code. So if we need to go on a rush, there we go. And then on the outside, if you are asking what we will have access here, the only thing that we will have access here is the batteries and also a USB Type-C connection, which is to be used in an emergency. Let's say that you don't replace the batteries, which in my experience for these two models, they last for months and months. Actually, this model here, it shows the battery level, which is almost depleted, but I believe that it's almost 1 year that I don't replace the batteries here. Now, this one doesn't have an indication for the battery, probably on the LED here, but I will have to check that out. But that's it. That's the only thing that we have access. So if anyone wants to go open this and replace the batteries, feel free to it. In terms of safety, no problems whatsoever, no risks at all. No more risks than any of these locks which are not smart. So my experience with WELOCK locks since 3 years ago, and especially with this model, which is the one that we use more, it is awesome. The only thing that I did criticize in the past was the app, which in terms of visual aspect is not my favorite, but in terms of the capabilities of the app, we can do a lot. And in terms of the capabilities of the locks, they are just awesome. And besides being able not to carry around keys and forget completely about the keys, I know that any member of my family, especially my youngest kid, is able to open, close the door whenever he needs without having to worry about keys, losing keys and all sorts of things that we have been there. You know what I mean. Hopefully you've enjoyed to meet this new WELOCK smart lock. One of the things that I do notice is that it's faster than these two in terms of reaction. So once I press the button, it's really fast, faster than any of these models, and especially comparing with the model that has the fingerprint, which is this one right over here. But in terms of the pin code, it's also faster than this one in terms of the reaction. So this is one of the things that I'm enjoying on this new model. And yes, that being said, hope that you enjoyed the video. And if you did so, don't forget the usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.